Hi, thanks for watching another video by Jim the Car Guy. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. Today we're going to be doing some basic checking of fluids, the fluid levels, the antifreeze, the transmission, power steering, brake fluid. I get a lot of emails from you subscribers saying that they'd like to see the proper way to check and make sure that the fluids are all full to the correct level. So I got a car over here. It's a Hyundai. They're all basically about the same, but this one's going to be a Hyundai. Well, maybe I'll do it on this Honda. I'm not really sure. But we're going to get over there. We're going to check all the fluids. First thing we're going to do, we're going to have the engine turned off. We're going to check the engine oil first, and then we'll go through all the other fluids one by one and show you exactly where they're supposed to be. So, all right, let me open up the hood, and we're going to get over there, and I'll show you how to check it. Okay, the first thing you're going to remember is the first thing you want to check is your engine oil. Usually it'll be a different color dipstick. Usually it's up in the front. It could be on the side over here. Basically what you want to do is you want to pull the stick out and wipe it down and check the levels. So let me show you how to do it. Right, first thing you want to do is you take your dipstick out, make sure the car is not running. Make sure the car is off. Wipe the oil down all the way down on the dipstick. Now, most dipsticks all have a mark on it. This is very dirty, this dipstick, so it's a little bit difficult to tell. Most of them have a full mark, and most of them have a low mark. Usually it should be someplace in the middle of there. You don't want to be over, and you don't want to be short. So what you do is wipe the stick down till it's clean. You make sure when you push the stick down that the stick goes all the way into the dipstick tube as far as it can go. Push it all the way down. Let it sit for a second, pull it back out, and look at it to see. Now, this is supposed to be in this range right here. As you can see, this person doesn't really take very good care of their car because nothing is showing up on a dipstick. And by looking at the residue on here on the dipstick, this car has only got about 20,000 miles on it, and look at the residue on there. No matter how many times I tell this guy he's got to change his oil more frequently, he just doesn't get it. So as you can see, he's burnt quite a bit of oil. So the oil level should be between here and here. It's not, so we're going to be doing an oil change on this car because it's down at least 2 quarts, possibly more. So we're going to change this guy's oil. All right? So that goes back inside here. Now, transmission, the car has got to be running to check the transmission fluid, which is actually located down over here. And as you can see, it says ATF oil. Usually they're always different colors, as you can see. One is yellow, one is red. They don't necessarily are that color, but that's what they look like. Same thing with this here, except the transmission fluid we're going to check with the car running. So let's start it up, and we're going to check it. You can hear that engine knocking because it's probably short on oil. Alright, so this is the transmission. You pull the dipstick out. Again, you wipe the stick down until it's nice and clean. And this also has the level right up here. One of them, it says hot. It's supposed to be in that range when it's hot, and it'll be down over here when it's cold. This car is actually hot because it's driven, and the engine itself is extremely hot. So we're going to check that fluid right now. All the way down, you pull it out, and it should be in the normal range, which should be up here. This is hot, so it is a little bit short on transmission fluid, so we're going to put a little bit of transmission fluid in there before this car leaves. But it should be in that normal range right there. Okay, so again, you wipe the stick all the way down until it's nice and clean, and then you push the stick into the transmission until it goes all the way down as far as it can go. You pull it out, and you check your fluid level. And as you can see, it still is low, so we are going to add some to that. All right? Now we're going to shut the car back off. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to come over here and we're going to check our antifreeze. As you can see, this is the full line right here. That's the low line right there. And this is up to the full mark right now, so we know we're okay. I want to add that when you check antifreeze in a car, you can open up the reservoir without an issue and to fill it through here. Under no circumstances when a car is hot do you open up the radiator cap itself. If you open up this cap and this car is hot, you're going to get burnt. And you're going to get burns that are probably worse than boiling water, because the engine itself is running 230, 240 in the summertime, so it's pretty hot. All right, so never open it up when it's hot. If you're going to open it up when it's cold, you squeeze the radiator hose to make sure there's no pressure in it, and then you would open it up. I'm not going to open it because this is actually pretty hot. All right, next thing we're going to do, we're going to come over here, and in the back on the right side is the master cylinder. And as you can see, this is the master cylinder right here. This is the maximum, and down here is the minimum. You can see that there. You can see when you shake the master cylinder, you can see what the fluid level is. You can see it's right up almost to the maximum right now, so we're not going to fill that up at all, because chances are the brakes have just worn down just a little bit. And if you fill this up to the maximum now, when you need to do brakes on it in the future, you're going to wind up having brake fluid all over everything. So we're good right there. All right, next thing we're going to check is we're going to check the power steering. Now, this power steering is supposed to be where you can see through it, but as you can see, it's kind of dirty. But that's the minimum, and that's the maximum. Power steering fluid, you check with the car off, not running. And you can look inside and you can see that the fluid is full right to the top. It's actually a little bit above the maximum right now, so somebody must have added to it and put a little bit too much in there. All right, make sure your cap is turned back on nice and tight. And that's it. That's your basic fluid check. All right, so the first thing we're going to do, you're going to check your engine oil with the car off and not running. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to check your transmission fluid with the car running. You're going to check the transmission fluid. Then you're going to check your brake fluid, and your brake fluid, you check it with the car not running, right? Power steering fluid, the same thing. You check it with the car off, fill it to the maximum, or in between the minimum and the maximum, depending on how warm the car itself is. And last but not least, your antifreeze. Check your antifreeze level to make sure that it's between the full and the low level. And in this case, it's up to the full. Before you add any antifreeze to any car, always make sure you put the correct antifreeze in. All right, that's it. Any questions or any comments? And I'll put up some other videos on other cars too, on how to check the basic the fluids under the hood. All right, thanks for watching. Any questions, any comments, you drop me a line. Be more than happy to talk to anybody about anything. Thanks again. See you on the next one.